Welcome to Conscious Living Collective, transformative journey in consciousness with community of like-minded people from around the world. That is you. My name is Tomek. I'm a scientist, teacher, and transformation coach. In this live session, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. This is an invitation to have a direct experience and to emerge on the other side with the renewed sense of purpose and well-being. Welcome to this session. Good to see you here. Today, very interesting topic, inner alchemy. But before I jump into explaining what we will be experiencing today, I want to extend my warm welcome to the members of my Patreon program. Parvane, very good to see you here. And to all members that come here on a regular basis. And also those of you who join for the first time, feel free to raise your hand if you're joining for the first time. Would love to know. Gwendolyn, welcome back. Gwendolyn from Arkansas. Carla from DC. Jason, good to see you here. And good to see everyone. Oh, Nina, good to see you here as well. Oh yeah, now I can see your icon at the bottom of my screen. That's how I recognize you. Most of you, or quite frankly, all of you, I only met in the virtual space through Insight Timer. There are a few of you not present today that I met in person, and our journey in exploration continues. Conscious Living Collective, as the name indicates, it's all about creating conscious relationships, conscious connections, both with others and with yourself. And this is a very important aspect of our sessions. You develop a better relationship with yourself, and through deepening the relationship with yourself, you also improve relationship with others, because by gaining new understanding of yourself, you can better relate to others. If you want to invoke non-dual teachings, at some point you start recognizing that the essence of the consciousness is the same in all of us. And that's why Conscious Living Collective moves us closer, both individually and collectively, towards that understanding. This is not something I can teach you. This is always a personal development, and hence the part of the session that I always say the most important part of the session is for you to have first-hand experience through the practice and through your personal exploration. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Evie. Hello, Karen. Good to see you here. We have a very good crowd today. So, what is alchemy? Maybe I would invite a few answers from you. And as you type in your answers, I just want to say that I studied chemistry. As a matter of fact, I have a doctorate in chemistry, and I spent years and years in various laboratories around the world practicing, studying, and practicing chemistry. And chemistry is an art of, well, it's a science of understanding the process of change and transformation of the base elements into molecules, into compounds, into more organized systems. And by trying to understand that, we learn how the natural world behaves. And before chemistry evolved as a science, way thousands and thousands of years ago, humans were very much interested in the process of transformation. And alchemy typically is being perceived as a process of transforming not precious metals into gold. Gold somehow, some way in our culture evolved as this very special metal that represents a great value. For me as a chemist, gold is not particularly interesting. The properties, obviously, of gold is that is metal that does not oxidize. It means that doesn't perish as quickly as the other metals that are subject to process of oxidation and diminishing. And maybe that's why it took such an important part in our culture and still is. As a matter of fact, the value of money for a long time has been translated into amount of gold, for which the money can be turned into. So today, we recognizing the cultural connotation of alchemy and trying to translate it into the process of inner alchemy or inner transformation, because conscious living collective is about the inner transformation of self in order to better understand yourself, both on the level of individual and your place in the collective as a whole. And the more understanding of that we acquire, the better and deeper understanding we've developed, the more fulfilled our life become. So that's in a nutshell is what we will be doing today. We will focus not on transforming. I will not tell you how to transform non-precious metals into gold. I will try to inspire your development of your inner understanding and taking the crude form of your mental and bodily state into refined and transformed state, which at that higher transformed level provides you with a better understanding of who you are, what this existence is all about, and through that improve your well-being, improve how you feel. Because the reason for science, the reason for alchemy was to understand how things work, to get a better knowledge of taking elements that are unrefined and transform them into something that is refined, that is precious, that is of greater value. Hello, Karen. Hello, Seth. Evie answered to my question, changing. So this is a very good starting point. Changing is not the same as transformation, but you can feel intuitively that transformation and change are related. Changing, in a sense, can be from any state to any other state. And that might include state of being evolved to something that it's unevolved, the process of de-evolution. However, transformation is taking a simple, or in this instance, actually, that's not true. I want to say taking elements that are simpler and converting them, transforming them into something of the greater complexity, but also of the greater purity. So there's many ways of understanding the word transformation. There's a different ways of understanding alchemy. But I think in this particular case, we'll be talking about how to transform your mind, how to take the habitual thoughts that come your way. For most of us, they'll be, if you participated in the previous sessions of Conscious Living Collective, we were talking about breaking free from worry. We were talking about inner peace. We are talking about all these aspects of transformation that move us from worrying, from anxiety, from thoughts that simply get in there without any purpose as a, say, collective adaptation, perhaps. And now taking that crude material of our mind and transform it into inner peace. So you see how normally in daily life for most of us, most of the time, thoughts, particularly the unwelcome thoughts, are become a burden, become a something we don't want, something that we potentially can get rid of. And rightfully so. For a craftsman that is unskillful and take just a dirt, right? You can look, oh, that's the dirt. But for someone who is skillful, will be able to see that all the thoughts that come your way, if alchemy applied to them in the process of inner transformation and purification applied, we can come out on the other side or extract from them understanding through the alchemical process of inner transformation. You use those thoughts that for most of the time, for most of the people are unwelcomed, into something that is of a great value. So this is process, this is in a sense an alchemical process to that start with something that is very crude, something that for most people has no value. Most people will reject that. Have you heard about this saying that some people rubbish becomes other people's treasure? Oh, I think I'm paraphrasing that. Can you help me? Maybe some of you, maybe there's some of you here who know the actual saying. I think it's the transformation. Some people's ... becomes other people's treasure. Trash to treasure? Yeah, thank you. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Yeah, thank you so much. So I want to invite you to consider that in your own life, particularly from the perspective of the thoughts that very often overwhelm you, the thoughts that put you down, that drain you. How can we use them in order to discover a treasure? How we can extract the positive out of something that at the first glance is just rubbish. It's trash. One person's trash is another's treasure. Fantastic. Thank you so much for helping me to understand this saying, because I think it's very important to see in the process of meditation, into which we jump in just a second, that if we only have an expectation of experiencing calm and clarity, and hoping that none of the customary thoughts that we are so familiar with, because they accompany us throughout the day, they will not be there. I think, in a sense, that's setting yourself for failure, right? From the perspective of the mind, you want to experience pleasure, you want to experience gratification at all times. But if we apply logic to this statement, we know this never will be true. There'll be never time in our life where we will jump from one pleasure to another, from one gratification to another. And that's not because we don't have a potential for it. It's about transforming your relationship with what you right now may consider unwanted thoughts, unwanted states, unwanted experiences, as a crude material without which you cannot transform yourself and your place in the collective. It goes without saying that our growth, our fulfillment lies in the process of transformation, the challenges, transformation of the worries into something that is of a great value. You experience fulfillment by facing the challenges as they are. You are not experiencing fulfillment by avoiding your challenges. If you decide to avoid all challenges that are put in front of you, you might notice that you spend most of the time in the state of resistance. And how does the resistance feel in your body? Maybe this is the question to you. When you feel that when you're in the state of not wanting something, how does it manifest within your body? That's a question to you. Fear. Excellent. And panic, stress. And on the level of the bodily sensations, when you're afraid, when you're panicking, when you are stressed, how does your body respond or reflect on such mental states? Tightness, heat. Thank you, Parvane. That's very, very accurate. So using the words that Parvane gave us, thank you, Parvane, for that. Is tightness in itself a bad thing? Is it heat in itself a negative thing? Nina, headache, elevated heart rate. Are any of those physical symptoms bad in themselves? Alone, it can be okay. As a matter of fact, everything that you just described are the normal, natural responses to many different mind states. Heat may be in other situation, maybe a manifestation of physical activity. Tightness, it might be an expression of you lifting a weight or simply walking. When I walk, my calf tight and release. So everything in that sense can be a positive force, or looked from the perspective of the mind in the stressful situation, can be perceived, and the word perceived is very important here, something that is detrimental to our well-being. And now we're coming to the key question of alchemy: how we choose to use all those bodily sensations, all those thoughts, all those states. Are we choosing to use it to our detriment, to put ourselves down? Or do we have enough wisdom? Do we have enough strength and courage? And the key word here is courage. It's acting. Courage, by definition of courage, is to act in the presence of fear. So fear is there. Tightness is there. You can feel it in your body. And you choose to act and recognize them as a crude material for the inner transformation. If you didn't have any worries, if your life was just jumping from one success story to another, there were no challenges, it is very unlikely that you would choose the path of contemplation, meditation. You would never be challenged. You would never have a reason to question the status quo, things the way they are. The thoughts, the emotions, particularly those unwanted ones from the perspective of your mind, are the crude material for our exploration. And when you transform your relationship within the meditative space, again, it's very difficult to do it when we are in the thick of challenging situation. There's no time sometimes, very often, there's no times to respond wisely. That's why we sit in meditation and we allow the thoughts to come and experience them as they are, as a thought process, without trying to add the unskillful mind description of them, without adding them the weight that the mind, unskillful, unwise mind can add them. They're wrong. They're not supposed to be there. I don't want them, and so on and so forth. The resistance that we spoke about. So by sitting, as we will in just a moment, together, allowing our experience to unfold in awareness without resistance, you train yourself from the perspective of neuroscience. You rewire your neurocircuits towards acting wisely next time you find yourself challenged, you find yourself tangled within unwanted thoughts. Unwanted thoughts from the perspective of the unskillful mind, untrained mind. When you do it, next time you are able to receive those states, those thoughts, those emotions in a much more skillful way. And they no longer have the damaging capacity to drain your energy, but they are simple energy. There's no good or bad energy from the perspective of physics. Energy is energy. If you obtain energy from fossil fuels, that's an energy. If you obtain energy from a nuclear fusion, that's still the same energy, has the same capacity. Regardless of the source, it's not where the energy is coming from, but how your ability to transform it, or using the physical term, how to transform the potential energy into kinetic energy, which is the action of it. And unskilled mind will use that potential to weigh yourself down, to spiral down into worry, into desperation, into anxiety, into fear. But trained mind with ability, alchemical ability to transform, will use this as a fuel to overcome challenges, to grow, to evolve. So, a lot of wise words here. And these wise words, a lot of words here. I'm not going to say whether they're wise or not, because the wisdom is not in the content itself, but in how you receive them, what you will do with them, right? I read many wise books, clearly exceptional content. But when I'm asking myself how much of that content I put into use? The honest answer would be not so much. Not so much. Have you ever read a book for the second time, gaining a completely new understanding of it? Or have you ever watched a movie that, I don't know, maybe you watched when you were young and not so wise, and then you watched it for the second time and realized, my goodness, how come I didn't see it before? So what has changed? The content was exactly the same. The letters on the paper did not change. The scenes in the movie did not change, but what have transformed is you over the period of time, so you can extract, transform the content in a very different way. Hi, Jackie. And hi, Anne. Good to see you here. And a wonderful member of my Patreon program. So, yeah. Do you have any questions related to the process, alchemical process of inner transformation, transforming stress into presence? So in today's practice, we will apply the alchemical principle of transformation to the mind. And the intention behind the practice will be to learn how to shift from tension that will arise at some point, inevitably, to ease. From scattered thoughts to centered presence. They all will be present there, very often simultaneously. So, our practice will have three components. First of all, we have to recognize the active ingredient, the transforming agent of the process, which is your awareness. Without conscious awareness, there's no inner transformation. If you are on autopilot, if you experience your thoughts unconsciously, you reacting to them unconsciously as opposed to responding consciously, they will just come and go, and they will have no effect, they will have no transformative effect on you. However, when you begin with awareness, that's where you have an opportunity. It's not given that it happened, it's up to you. But starting with awareness, that's where the journey begins. So the first step in our practice will be grounding in awareness, and then transforming whatever there is in you, all the bits and pieces of stress, of anxiety, of fear, all these things that we perceive, and again, from the perspective of the mind, are unpleasant, into balance, putting pieces together, increase our understanding. And then the third part, we will look at the constant that always encompasses our living, which is your breath. And breath, by definition, is always present, and it's never positive or negative. And that's why breath is such a wonderful tool of centering yourself and positioning yourself in the middle. Okay? Rachel, sometimes it can be, quote unquote, knowing what's coming, because I remember how the story goes, but most often it is the experiences I've been through since the first run. I do not fully understand, Rachel. How does it fit in our conversation? Perhaps you could help me to understand better. Parvane, achieving this transformation would be a tremendous gift. Indeed, indeed. Learning the alchemical process, uh, using a metaphor of alchemy as understood in ancient times. If you knew how to transform not precious metals into gold, well, you ultimately become the richest person on planet, right? Philosophical stone was the tool of alchemy to transform anything into gold, any unprecious metal into gold. And knowing that process of transformation, metaphorically, is the purpose of life. Taking the crude material of life as it is given into fulfilled life. That it's never given, but is always developed. Right? Nothing is given, everything is developed in the process, in alchemical process of transformation. Does it make sense? Okay. So, oh yes, okay, yeah. In response to rereading a story or rewatching a movie, I'm transforming even during the first reading, so I'm not the same at the start of the second experience as the same material. Yeah, that's very true, and I apologize. I clearly did not make the connection here. Thank you for clarifying this. Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for me, by the way, before we start, I just want to. How many of you have watched American Beauty with Kevin Spacey and Anne Bening? I want to say, yeah, that was a. I absolutely loved that movie when I first watched it, and I just liked it. And then I watched it years and years later. That was way into my meditation practice, and I was absolutely blown away. And I was shocked how I didn't see that movie in the way I can see it now. So yeah, that's why I always loved that movie. But I think I only understood it years and years and later after watching for the first time. I think first time I watched it, I didn't even speak English, so I only read the subtitles. Seth, the conversation reminds me of another expression. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The thing or circumstances isn't changed, but our way of looking at it represents a shift. So true, Seth. That's a fantastic remark. Yeah, great contribution to what we're about to embark upon. Yeah. So, and along the same line, Carl Jung, it's not about discovering new horizons, but developing new eyes. So let's see. Let's see how will this experience, how your experience will unfold from the perspective of inner alchemy, applying the principles of inner alchemy as a transformation of the crude material of your thoughts, emotions, and feelings into something of value that we can use to better understand yourself and to improve, enhance, and be more fulfilled in your daily living. Once again, for those of you who joined from the very beginning, we will use Peter Helen's flying in our contemplation. Just have to reconnect it somehow, some way. Somehow it doesn't want to go. I apologize. Some technical issues. There you go. We'll switch to the meditation screen. Okay. So get ready for the meditation part. Begin this meditation by settling into a comfortable posture. Allow your eyes to close or lower your gaze. Center yourself by taking a deep breath in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. Bring your attention to your body, noticing where it makes contact with the chair or floor. Imagine that you are centered and rooted, deeply connecting with your body and the surface underneath you, the state of unwavering stability. And as you feel centered and grounded, shift your awareness to your breath. There's no need to control it. Just observe. Inhale and exhale. Rise and fall of your chest and belly. Expansion, contraction. And most importantly, notice that each inhale invites presence. Since you cannot breathe in the past, nor in the future, each moment you spend being aware of your breath is the presence. Being present, bring to mind a moment, a situation, a scenario in which you felt stressed. Observe how this feels in your body. Any tension? Any resistance? And see how naturally you may try to push it away. That's giving it a label of negative. I do not want it. And when you notice this resistance, consciously release it. And recognize this is just a mental exercise in which you are safe. You perform it in a controlled environment with me by your side to support you, to hold the space for you. So this situation from the past has no longer power over you. It becomes a fuel of transformation, releasing energy that otherwise you would be used to create a boundary to protect it from your conscious experience. And now, release, let go of this scenario and bring to your awareness another situation, thought, experience that in the past you considered as unwanted, negative, something you would want to avoid in the future. And again, as thoughts, emotions, perhaps images arise in your awareness, connect with the bodily sensations that are evoked as a result of this past experience. And as with the previous scenario, instead of resisting it, instead of seeing the negative label that your mind will likely to give it, simply allow yourself to experience it as energy, tension, heat, perhaps tingling. Give your all attention to this sensation that is a result of the past experience. And see how this sensation within your body changes as the time passes by. It doesn't stay the same. And see if you can release that tension, See if you, in your mind, can transform your relationship with that thought as observed in your body into pure, clear energy that now can be stored for the future use in your body. Energy that no longer has the power of overwhelming your nervous system, but serves as a source of inspiration to face the future challenges with a new understanding. And now to conclude this second part, press the save button, so to speak, by taking a deeper breath in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Let go, release all the thoughts and emotions related to this situation, this experience. And once again, ground yourself in the presence of your breath. Observing the inhale and the exhale as an expansion and contraction of your chest and your belly. Using your entire body to breathe in and breathe out. You are safe, secure, and protected in this space. And you can experience anything, recognizing the nature of awareness that is all-encompassing, always welcoming to all experiences. Recognize that you can use the same process to transform any past experience that held you hostage, that captured your energy by creating boundaries, unreleased tension, stagnant energy. The more you use this technique, the faster you will transform those stagnant energies, the more vital force you will release into the present moment. The more lively you become. And now to conclude this period of meditation and transformation, express your gratitude for the courage that you have shown by engaging in this chemical process of transformation. Show gratitude for starting something important, something that you can continue later on for your benefit, the benefit of your personal inner transformation, and in turn, the benefit of the collective. And now to finish, simply take one deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when ready, in your own time, open your eyes and welcome back. Wonderful. Thank you for meditating with me. So, what did you come up with? Have you noticed this process of transformation? Haha, Deanie, cold to diamond. That's exactly what it is. I'm glad to see that you enjoyed it, Matt. Were you able to transform your understanding of any of the past experience? Has something of interest came up out of this process? I'll be curious to know. I must say, after we listen to this guidance from the level of my intellect, because I have a feeling it was there were moments when I completely let go and the words from the perspective of my mind were not very coherent. But I would be curious to know, how did you experience this guidance? It was very intuitive. I myself try to let go. I make a big effort to disconnect my mind from it and let the words to flow. Parvane, the experience was very powerful and emotional. I did feel the transition, but the experience of stress is still raw. That's the thank you for sharing that, Parvane. This is, again, it would be unwise to expect within the period of what we meditated for 15 minutes to experience a full transformation. This is more about seeing the potential as you continue this transformation on your own. As you make an effort, you see the potential of this method, and the fact that you are the active ingredient in this process. Your consciousness, you being the consciousness, your awareness, are the active ingredients, or is the active ingredients of this process, and you can use it to your advantage. Any other interesting points taken from this process for you personally that you wish to share? I do not recall if I have similar meditations on Insight Timer. I think this one was very new as a process of transformation. I did something similar when I was visiting Monroe Institute in Charlottesville, Virginia, last year. My visit to US, we did a lot of the inner transformation inner alchemy, as I can see it right now, in the Monroe Institute. But it's certainly not something I think I use myself a lot in a conscious way. So I think maybe this is a note purely to myself to try it more. But I want to thank you for being here with me and undergoing this process of transformation. And I'll be curious to know if it had started something new for you. I do not have any expectations with respect to this process. I simply am curious. How did it work for you? Yeah. Sunshine, thank you for the reminder that focus on breath helps stay in the present moment. Indeed. Indeed. Our breath is indeed a very um, precious tool of presence. As a matter of fact, the entire meditation traditions evolve around awareness of the breath. Simply by being aware of the breath, one of the simplest practices one can do. And when I say the simplest, doesn't mean it's easy. It's simple but not easy to stay on your breath for extended period of time. But even that is the path to transformation. People who practice shamatha, which is the Buddhist practice of breath awareness, over a long period of time, can say how transforming this, just not even focusing on emotions, but focusing on your breath, how transformative this can be. I think focusing on your emotions and the past experiences can be even more transformative, but I know it may be difficult at the same time. It's not something that comes easy. It takes extra effort. Jackie, it seemed to a lot vision certain past trauma being let go into the ocean and floating away out of sight. I really like that visualization. Visualizations are very helpful in the process of transformation because they bring on board both the inner energies of your body, the subtle energies of your body, and they connect it with the intellect. And intellect likes content, and visualization is the content in the process of transformation. So when you combine both, it is a known fact that visualization can have a profound effect in the process of an alchemical process of inner transformation. Sarah, resistance is futile, better to transform. Indeed, indeed, a great development. I think we're coming to an hour of our session. I would like to bring it to the end now. I want to respect your time and thank you so much for everything that you have done to me and for me of the period of a very long period when we started CLC. Thank you so much for your support, for your very, very big generosity. I think the past few sessions were the sessions where you donated so the biggest amount to my Insight Timer account. It's I was blown away by your generosity. I do not believe I did anything differently, so I want to give you all the credit, so to speak. Maybe something else is at work here, and maybe I can only imagine that your generosity is inspired by the benefit that you got from the sessions of Conscious Living Collective, and that inspires me in turn to connect with you more, to create more content, and to come here more often. And on that note, we will be exploring the process of transformation on Monday, and this time from chaos to clarity. We'll be using the process of transformation to transforming the everyday chaos that our mind reigns upon us and the situation in the world, and we'll see how we will learn how to move from overwhelm to insight with simple but powerful practices. So if you are interested in knowing and learning how to transform chaos of your life into clarity, then the Monday session or Monday/Sunday session is for you. So thanks so much once again. Thank you, Dini. Thank you, Parvane. That's very kind and generous of you. I look forward to next session with you. And for now, I wish you a pleasant day or restful evening wherever you are. Thank you again, and I'll leave you with Peter Helland and he's flying. Have a beautiful time. Thank you.